You always wanted to expand the business in different geographies.
Many organizations, they have good systems and processes, but they don't arm the person in the field. They send them to battle with their hands tied behind them. I also got an offer to join a Master of Science in Technopreneurship and Innovation from NTU.
Why do you feel the need to go for this program?
I felt that the world is changing and one should go back to school every 5 years, every 10 years. It matters a lot to get new perspectives.
What is an IB education? And
It is about concept-based learning, contextual learning. It is about experiential learning.
I mean, working with governments is not easy.
Yes.
How are you able to work around well with the government?
So we believe that IB has a lot to offer the governments, be it in system reform or curricular reform, or even as a model school concept, right? Pilot schools. You run that, you see the difference.
Now you are become an education person, and I think your heart lies in education.
I love what I do. So I think that if you do what you love and love what you do, you are settled.
Hi, welcome back. This is Ankur Vora, Intersect by Masters Union podcast series. We have with us today another distinguished guest on our series, Mr. Mahesh Balakrishnan from Human Touch and IB. Mahesh,
you.
honored to have you here with us.
Thank you, Ankur. A pleasure being here.
Mahesh, we have been talking that I want you on this podcast for last many months, and I'm so happy that you took the time out. Our personal relation and rapport that we share over the last many years is amazing. I have always enjoyed your company. I have always enjoyed learning from your experiences, the way you conduct yourself, and it's indeed a personal honor. And definitely, all of us in Masters Union are equally excited to have you here with us today. Uh, you know, Intersect by Masters Union podcast series, you have been part of Intersect. I mean, you have been on our panels and you have seen the community now, which is growing over the last many years. Uh, we talk about leaders like you in this podcast series. And we don't only talk professional, we want to know the people behind, the personality behind Mahesh Balakrishnan from IB that we all have come to celebrate. So please, let's start with your early formative years. Some of those things that you may not have shared on many of the panels or thousands of panels that you have been part of, or thousands of keynotes that you may have given in conferences. But what are those few things that you would want to share from early on in your life?
Thank you again. And Ankur, a pleasure being here, a beautiful Masters Union campus. And happy to have seen the growth of Intersect and Masters Union in the last few years.
Thank you.
My journey began in Bhopal, the capital of Madhya Pradesh, at that time United Madhya Pradesh. Grew up in a middle class family. Father was a computer engineer and a very learned man, very straightforward man, very handsome man with a big mustache.
Wow.
And he was very outgoing and very helpful to people. I studied in Campion School, which had large grounds. Okay. I remember the school as much as the grounds.
Okay.
Today, when I go to schools and which are acre or 1.5 acres, somewhere I feel that the students and children are missing those large campuses.
Yeah.
If I go to a YPS Patiala
Yes.
today or a YPS Mohali, I see the large grounds and it reminds me of my own school.
Yes.
Growing up, indulged in sports, had a very nice childhood, sheltered by my two elder brothers, and very passionate about sports and general knowledge because of my dad, that curiosity. He was a self-made man, learned hardware computers,
Okay.
and learned software programming on his own.
Okay.
And he used to work on mainframes.
Okay. And in
Okay.
Bhopal.
In Bhopal.
Okay.
So we grew up in BHL township.
Okay. BHL.
So multicultural township, very clean city. People call Bhopal clean now, but when we are growing up, good parks, lakes, and made for a good
And Bhopal has many lakes. It's also called the
Yes.
city of lakes.
City
I
of
believe.
lakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been there once for a conference, but yeah, I also found it really beautiful. I would have loved to spend more time, but never got a chance to go back again. Maybe in future. But tell us, yes, a bit more about Bhopal in those years.
So Bhopal, BHL, and then we had in my life the first Black Swan moment was the Bhopal gas tragedy of
Okay.
1984.
So you were there.
I was in school,
Okay.
and growing up, my elder brother was in a NCC camp quite close by actually, and they also helped in the aftermath of the tragedy.
Okay.
That year
Sorry
was
to
the
hear that.
first thing. Then went on to do my Bachelor of Science in a government college in Bhopal. Then went on to do my MBA from Jivaji University, Gwalior. That time, one of the top ranked B schools, not many B schools around the world, around India that time,
This was in 91,
1989.
1989. Wow.
So,
And then undergraduate, you were
in Bachelor of Science in Bhopal,
Bachelor of Science in Bhopal, and then MBA
then
in
MBA.
Bhopal.
And I have
And
just
why? I mean, may I just let's pause here. And these were choices by your own self, or by around the society, or those were the only choices available. What
yes,
was that?
so I'm coming to that. A very interesting tidbit
Yeah.
is that I was the last batch of 11 plus 3 system.
Okay, 11 plus 3 system.
So post that was 12,
10 plus 2.
not 10 plus 2 system. Right?
Yeah.
So we were the 11 plus 3 last batch.
So that means that you spent 11 years in school followed by graduation?
Graduation 3 years.
Okay. Wonderful. I didn't know that.
And that time you had choices of only engineering or medicine.
Okay.
So I had a chance to do my MSc in science as well,
Okay.
but I decided to go into B school.
B school. And this was in Bhopal,
So I went to Gwalior.
Gwalior. And then, so this was your education,
Yeah.
Bhopal, and then Gwalior.
Yeah.
And then post that,
Post that, I'm coming to that. So when I was in growing up, my parents were teaching poor kids at home. They started teaching.
okay.
Okay. So today people talk about access and inclusion, but I feel I saw that firsthand, right? Where my parents were teaching children of vegetable sellers, okay, cleaning ladies, giving them practical skills. My dad used to teach them how to repair a spoiled fan or a mixie as well, apart from mathematics and science and English.
And your dad was not a teacher, right?
He was a great teacher
Okay.
without being a formal teacher.
Yeah, so tell us a bit more about.
Yeah, and I'll come to that. So, and post as he was approaching retirement, he was teaching in a computer. Started teaching up computer science in a Satyasai College, Bhopal. So he also became part of UGC accreditation for DCA, Diploma in Computer Application, Bachelor of Computer Application, Master of Computer Application, which was the hot thing at that point of time.
Okay, perfect.
And so post-retirement, we moved out of the Beechel township and moved into our own home in Bhopal. And that time people used to look at public sector, if you remember.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as I was completing my MBA, I enjoyed my B school. So I think I'm a late bloomer.
Mm-hmm.
I learned how to study, how to crack exams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I appeared for SAIL, Coal India, IIM Fellowship.
Okay.
And when I got my interview for IIM Fellowship in Bangalore and I was going by train, my dad came to see me late night. The train had got delayed. Came to see me at the station. So delighted that I'd cracked that.
Mm-hmm.
He put a lot of value in education.
Education.
Even our home in Bhopal is called Sri Vidya.
Okay. Hare
So-
Krishna.
So just to give you that bit, and that year I cracked those exams. I cracked Petrophils, which was later acquired by Reliance,
Okay.
and Southeastern Coalfields was my first posting. If I joined Coal India as a
So
management,
these
trainee.
are all public sector roles
Yes.
you were looking for.
But I appeared for exams. He used to come to Delhi, write exams, and go back.
Mm.
Okay. But once I graduated from my B school, I decided to join HCL.
HCL.
That time it was Unified HCL.
Okay.
Okay. But the moment I joined, then instead of the computers division, they posted me in reprographics.
So why is that you didn't join public sector? I mean, your dad was very proud of you for getting
Yes.
that fellowship, and
in
still.
IIM, but I didn't join IIM.
Okay.
My dad had retired and I didn't want to tax them. I said, एक MBA हो गया, काफी
So
है.
that was a MBA program at IIM.
fellowship program.
Fellowship program.
Postdoctoral.
The 5-year fellowship program.
Fellowship program.
Okay, so you had a route to PhD and fellowship.
Yeah.
So you got selected, but you didn't
I
join.
chose not to, and I decided to
Wow.
pursue a corporate.
And then you were parallelly you were also appearing for all these public sector exams.
Yes, yes.
And you were getting offers from there as well.
So I joined HCL.
Wow.
And was posted in a town called Nagpur
Nagpur as a
sales executive.
Okay, sales executive. Okay. And you were selling what?
Photocopiers.
Okay.
Okay. Because the HCL had a choice that once you get selected, they would put you either in the computers division or reprographics division. And later reprographics and communications merged. That was fax and photocopiers.
And which year was that? You started?
91.
91. Your first job was in HCL in Nagpur.
In Nagpur.
And selling photocopy machines.
So then I worked, started getting, and I was an introvert person, and HCL taught me how to be outgoing and become a ace salesperson. Full credit to them. And I also give a lot of credit to HCL for their appraisal systems. I've worked with a lot of global organizations. The kind of appraisal system they had way back, I've not seen any good multinational having that kind of a system.
Wonderful.
So I'll pause here for a moment.
Yeah.
So I was selling into private organizations and all in around Vidarbha. Then I swapped my role with a colleague because his family requested. So I went to Chhattisgarh.
Okay.
And I was selling into southeastern coalfields, Mahanadi coalfields, in all these organizations. Private. There was no sale prior to my going there. That's why they requested, Mahesh, can you do? And I was very fortunate. One of my general managers in HCL said, Mahesh, if you don't sell, it's okay. Because there was no sale prior to you. But if you do it, it'll be good. And I cracked. I cracked the market, sold very well. And that gave me a lot of confidence that I can sell. So HCL was a good training ground for me. They gave a lot of freedom. Why am I saying is many organizations, they have good systems and processes, but they don't arm the person in the field. They send them to battle with their hands tied behind the back. I think HCL was very good in that they empowered the salesperson on the field. And I got this Coal India offer, I got the Petrophils, but having seen, I said this PSU job is not to my liking, so I decided to continue with HCL. And over a period of few years, I was covering right from Jharsuguda, which is in Orissa, Chhattisgarh, and Chhattisgarh at that time was part of Madhya Pradesh. I don't know if you've been to Chhattisgarh recently.
I've been to Raipur a couple of times.
It is developed now.
Yeah.
At that time, not so much. A ride from Raipur to Bilaspur used to take 5.5 hours.
Okay.
Now it takes just 2 hours.
2 hours.
And I'll give you one interesting perspective. We had a photocopier called the Little Master, very small, named after Sunil Gavaskar. And how we used to sell that was these jeweler shops, right?
Yeah.
So they would not give necklace or some design to the ladies to take home.
Yeah.
So we used to say that you take a photocopy and take the photocopy and show it to your husband at home.
So you used to sell these machines to the jewelers?
Jewelers, to corporates, to Xerox machine. That time, photocopying was a big business, right?
Business. So this is like B2B sales for you.
B2B, B2C.
B2C also. And you said, you learned a lot of things from HCL. So how many years you were there?
4 years almost.
4 years. And in Central India,
Central India. So, and one time I was covering all the way from Chhattisgarh to Amravati, Akola. I moved back to Nagpur, Amravati, Akola, Latur, Nanded, Chandrapur.
Wow, could not have imagined. I mean, those cities that even still today does not register on our minds sitting here in Delhi or Mumbai or Hyderabad or Bangalore. I mean, those are the cities that you were selling.
Taught me India.
India, yes. Definitely. What our experience it must have been. So 4 years with HCL, sales, and then after that?
I moved to a company called Entel.
Entel.
Okay.
E-N-T-E-L. Okay. What was this company
So there's a joke since you said Intel, right? I used to say Intel is inside and we are outside.
मुझे लगा इंटेल ही है और सबको ये लगता है अच्छा ENTL so what was
So
this
they,
company about
so they used to make these 3D projectors, okay, um, three gun projectors बोलते थे, which was connected to show movies or classroom training and all. It will show you connect to a computer, or so it was the next gen. Now today you see LCD projectors and all, they're ubiquitous, right?
Yeah.
We were the ones who introduced it in India.
okay ah wonderful
So
so you were then again heading sales for them where
yes, out
which
of
cities
Chennai, Pura South.
okay
So I had customers like a liquid propulsion system center, cryogenic engines, Bark,
yeah.
then ISRO.
Okay, all the
Yeah.
big shots.
Then our company was in fact even supplying to ABCL, Amitabh Bachchan
Corporation
Corporation
Limited.
Limited. The 96, I think the beauty pageant, they were the ones.
Yeah.
who
Okay.
did that.
Yeah, the Miss World campaign was hosted in India. I think Bangalore somewhere.
Yes. So if you look at ISRO, right, today, all the things, so
Yeah,
it
I've
gives
been
me
there.
great pride and connection that these are the display walls with which I was associated.
Yeah,
with
in
one.
that command center. I was there last year with Jagrati Yatra. They took us to that command center. It looks beautiful and it's amazing just to be there. So, okay, those are see how small is the world.
Yes.
So, wow. And so 4 years there, how much
Yeah,
year?
96 to 2000.
2000. So, I think pretty much almost a decade you were spending in
Yeah,
IT,
9 years.
IT industry,
Hardware primarily.
Okay. And then after that?
So I was selling into software companies in Chennai as well. So one of the companies liked what I was doing. They said, "Why don't you move to Singapore?" And I jumped at that offer. Because previously through Intel, I had been to Singapore.
Okay.
I like that city.
Okay.
So they wanted somebody who's a salesperson but can pick up services. Okay, so I was willing. They had seen my approach. So reached Singapore and started selling IT services, body shopping. That was huge at that time, right? Contract. Started doing that with Singapore government agencies and all. And I was very surprised with that company that they had a very strong presence in Singapore. And they'd grown to almost like 150, 200 people. We grew up to 255 warm bodies in Singapore.
Okay.
We had a huge
Pretty
development
big.
center.
Yeah.
We were doing a lot of projects for Singapore government. At that point of time, probably our company was the biggest Indian IT services company. But surprisingly, they were not serving Malaysia, which was just next door. So I told them, they said, we tried, we have not succeeded. Then I'll take the challenge. They said, yes, but your Singapore targets would not come down. Did well, established, got good clients, blue chip clients for them. Set up a development center, set up a...
In Malaysia?
In Malaysia,
Wow.
in Cyberjaya.
Okay.
So that happened. Then through the...
And how were you able to do that for them? I mean,
So I realized that when I was working for HCL and all of that, I realized a pattern.
okay.
And I'm very good in cross-border.
Okay.
Okay, if you're in or new markets, new market expansion.
Yeah.
So I said this should be my forte.
Okay. So you always wanted to expand the business in different geographies.
I think being a king in your own market is easy, correct? But to
No, it's very difficult. Yes, any new market is very difficult to enter and then to start working and deliver results immediately. It takes time.
and persevere and crack large deals.
Wonderful. So happy to hear that. So Singapore. So you shifted from Chennai to Singapore, working for this company.
Yeah.
And
I was developing Malaysia, traveling 4 days a week to Kuala Lumpur and other parts, Penang and all, and 3 days in Singapore.
Wonderful.
And working. Then 9/11 happened.
Okay.
And just before 9/11, they asked me, do you want to move to Australia and revive the business? The business was not growing there. They were worried. Managing director said, why don't you move to Australia? I said, okay, I will go, but I'll take my family and move to Sydney.
Okay.
North Sydney. You have seen Dil Chahta Hai movie.
Bilkul.
All the locals are very familiar because very close to where we are staying.
Okay.
And got some good results there as well in Australia.
Australia.
Yeah.
So which company was this?
This was a company which was later it became Scandent,
Okay.
which was acquired by Computer Sciences Corporation and then went
CSC.
through a few more name changes. Now it's called DXC.
TXC. And it's headquartered out of?
So we had our own independent Singapore entity.
Okay. Wonderful. And then you shifted to Australia, and then how long and what were
So
you doing?
I was there for about a year.
Okay.
Then my wife said, no, we are better off in Singapore.
Okay.
Singapore, she doesn't need me. She says that she's very comfortable
Yeah.
traveling and living,
Yeah. It's a very
safety
comfortable
and
city.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been there. Yeah.
So then I was, for another 2 more years, I was covering Australia out of Singapore.
Oh, Singapore.
So back to that. And so this was my journey, software
So I think
services.
quite a substantial amount of time you would have spent in IT. I mean, 15
yes,
years
IT
plus.
service, yeah.
Wow. Amazing. That part of your life I didn't know. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, 15 years and more in IT. And then I think is the time when you also went on your own entrepreneurship stint. Human
Yes.
touch
Yes.
happened. If you want to touch upon that, how did human touch happen?
So when I was into the tech world and IT, what I realized was that people were talking too much tech.
Mm.
And they forgot that humans sell to humans and people buy from people, right?
Yeah.
People sell to people and people buy from people.
Mm.
And I was getting an opportunity. They wanted me to be transferred to Boston to manage a very large insurance account, $75 million account. They said, you go and manage. They'd seen me. They'd said, Malaysia said, kar diya.
I'm sure.
Australia turn around kar diya. Why not?
बिल्कुल.
So, but then I said, no. जब अपन किसी और के लिए कर सकते हैं, why not for खुद के लिए?
खुद के लिए.
So I decided that I will set up a very human-centric, customer-first organization. So I wanted to take
Yeah, that's why the name human touch.
human touch. That's how the genesis of human touch came.
Okay.
And first generation entrepreneur
Yeah.
in my family.
Yeah.
And people said that, we are very worried. My in-laws and all, they've not seen somebody being entrepreneurial,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So नहीं करते हैं. And started off well. So my business model at that time was helping tier 2 software companies from India and around the world to set up into Singapore and help them get this Southeast Asian market.
Very nice. I'm sure there were many clients for you.
So got started with that. And then a stroke of fortune happened. India and Singapore signed the Comprehensive Economic Agreement Treaty.
Mm-hmm.
So I tied up with one of the leading law firms from Singapore. They started giving me a lot of non-IT business. Chemicals, listed companies, large companies were looking at India. So we started doing a lot of work with back office work out of India.
Okay.
This was back office accounting, company registration, approvals. I don't know if you've heard of this company called Channel News Asia.
Yeah, I've heard Channel News Asia.
It's one of Singapore's very large companies, MediaCorp.
Yeah.
उसका जो downlinking license was done by us.
Okay.
Approvals.
बताइए.
So we were
lot
doing
of
this.
lot of good work happening and lot of I think you mentioned headwinds also for you. Right.
Tailwinds.
Tailwinds, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tailwinds आपके लिए भी थी क्योंकि वो पैक्ट साइन हो गया and all these things were happening.
मैं थोड़ा सा आपको यहाँ पे pause करता हूँ. 2003 there was another black swan event in Singapore and Hong Kong. The SARS.
SARS.
Okay. So there's a learning for me from SARS was that how Singapore education system shifted into home learning weeks every 2
Actually, they went into home learning SARS.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So and post SARS they continued primary and secondary every 2 weeks in a year, one in the first term and one in the second term. They will do home learning.
And how was that learning for you? I mean, you were in IT, and then that was led to
Yeah.
lot of demand for your device. What was a
So why am I mentioning is that when the COVID happened, I would have thought that Singapore as a country would be the first one to jump into online education. All didn't happen. They continued and kept their schools and all open through the pandemic.
pandemic? Okay. And what is the learning there for Singapore?
Is that for me is that they quickly adopted to online learning as a school and a practice. They still do that, but when that happened, you would think that in the case of COVID here, right? after post-COVID, during COVID, most schools in India and all, they moved to online education.
Mm-hmm.
But post-COVID, they moved to
Mm.
on-premise
Or,
education.
physical education.
Uh, Except that schools in NCR, due to pollution or constraints, they still move back to online.
Yeah.
But in other parts of the world, other parts of the country, they are still in school teaching and learning.
Because there were a lot of issues around, learning outcomes and teaching Yopari and
Well-being, digital well-being,
well-being,
mental
and
well-being.
I mean, a lot of those issues came up that
Yes.
nobody had thought of, and especially since pandemic got over, then people didn't want to deal with those kind of issues. And I
Yes.
think there is merit in having physical campuses, and there's a lot of learning that happens not only through the faculty, but just being in that environment with your peers and others around you. I mean, as we are sitting in Masters Union, I think we are big on our in-class and out-class learning. I mean, we definitely want our students to come to class, have experiences outside of class, learn from their peers, learn from
Yes.
faculty member that may not be teaching them, but they are around on campus that day. So great. I mean, so now is I think it's a good cue for us to also now enter your journey into education. You mentioned that your dad was a teacher. He was teaching and doing such good work, and so I'm sure you had some foundation values, seeing your dad teaching and all of the good stuff here he was doing. But then I know for a fact that you started working with Arizona State University. So that was your entry into education, or please tell us how did you enter education?
So, as Human Touch, we were doing some work for education institutions, including work for EuroKids, market research, and all of that there.
And how big was Human Touch? I mean, there's a lot of work that you're doing. How many employees?
So
And
at one time we had about 25 employees,
25 employees.
and we were contracting to organizations like Citibank and all, body shopping and all.
Okay.
So we were also running
And this is in Singapore.
Singapore,
Okay.
also running an employment agency,
Okay. Wonderful. So
So-
helping companies recruit talent.
recruit talent.
Amazing. So this was going great. Tell how did it?
So then 2006, I also got an offer to join a Master of Science in Technopreneurship and Innovation from NTU,
Okay.
Nanyang Technological
Yeah,
University,
one of the best universities.
which took us to Stanford, to Silicon Valley, and spent some time in University of Washington, Seattle,
Okay.
and then to Fudan University in Shanghai. Great experience,
Okay.
great course. And they allowed us to, people like me, to use a mobile phone because धंधा भी चल रहा था साथ में.
हाँ. अच्छा वो बिजनेस भी चल रहा था और
Human
आप
touch.
यहाँ कोर्स भी
Course
कर
भी
रहे
कर
थे.
रहे हैं.
And this was like how long?
Very intense, 1 year plus.
1 year.
Oh,
ये तो काफी
काफी.
चैलेंजिंग टाइम रहा होगा मैनेज बिजनेस एंड
Yeah.
स्टडीज
So
एंड
wife
ट्रैवल.
and other people were there who were supporting the organization. But because we had people on roles in these organizations, right? So that way it was very stable. Except that the new consultancy business had come kind of a halt, but then the regular work what we were doing.
And very important, why did you feel the need to go for this program?
I felt that the world is changing,
Okay.
and one should go back to school
Ah,
every 5 years, every 10 years. It matters a lot.
very
You
nice.
get new perspectives.
Very nice. Such a noble thought. I completely resonate with this.
So while I was doing that also, so ASU was looking for somebody who's got cross-border experience, economic development experience, and who's worked with government agencies. And I'd done some work for the Singapore government agencies like IE Singapore, Spring Singapore, because I was helping Singaporean organizations come into India.
Amazing.
Used to lead delegations. So they said, okay. They came to Singapore, met me, interviewed me, everything. They said, you become our representative. And people in Singapore and other places had heard of New York. People had heard of California, but not Arizona.
Absolutely.
People thought, oh, Wild West.
Yeah, absolutely.
thing.
बिल्कुल. आज भी वही दिमाग में आता है.
And they were doing fantastic work, ASU. And they were setting up incubation for global enterprises. So I'll give an example, right? If you enter a new market, what do you need? You need those first set of customers, which is the most difficult part,
Absolutely.
correct? So either today, because of being an interconnected world with internet and everything, you can make your foray and say, okay, help me. So what ASU was doing with is, suppose somebody wants to test out with an aerospace service or something. They will invite Honeywell to their premise. the Singapore entity would sit together and discuss. And Honeywell would give them that feedback, whether yes, no, good, bad, or whatever. And then if they like it, then the company has to sell to Honeywell. ASU would not do that, but they will match make.
Okay.
So good service to.
Very good. Absolutely.
So we were incubating some education tech companies, even from India, Mahindra Engineering Services, okay, who were looking to move to set up a aerospace entry in the western part of America.
Okay.
So they met Cessna and all of them through that.
Amazing. Sounds like an amazing program.
It was a great program.
And then you were representing Arizona
State University.
State University, but what about Human Touch?
That was through Human Touch.
Through Human Touch.
And City of Scottsdale, and through the ASU Foundation.
Okay.
And I was also teaching by that time in Singapore Polytechnic.
Okay.
I used to teach entrepreneurship. I helped create that program.
Okay.
Along with a friend of mine who was a full-time faculty.
Okay.
And I used to deliver lecture in SMU and other places.
Wow.
And the Global Family Business Program of SP Jain.
SP Jain, yes. I've been to their campus in Singapore and Dubai also. Yeah.
So market expansion is what I used to talk about.
Okay.
And this continued till 2014. Great
And
work.
you joined Arizona in 2007?
2006.
2006 until 2014.
Yeah.
And Human Touch was again, I mean, those was growing in its own way. And
so we continued. In fact, one of the senior economic and the head of computer science later went on to become the NSF director. He just stepped down.
Okay.
Mr. Sethuraman Pachanandan.
Okay. He was working with you?
So he was in ASU.
ASU. Okay.
So one of the incidents I want to give is how ASU was foresighted. You know, when Google came up, where did they first set up their first educational office? In ASU.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
70,000 students across campuses. How do you get the testing for the Google suite of products, Google Docs and all?
So till 2014, you were with Arizona, and
Human Touch Consulting.
And Human Touch Consulting. So then is when you joined IB, and then
So I continued my own consultancy work, IT and non-IT. Okay. 2014, what I realized is that parents and others are getting old, and health-related issues were cropping up. We needed to support them. So my travel to India had become more frequent. So my wife and I said that, okay, one of us has to be in India to do that. Then 2017 onwards, I was looking at IB. 2018 is when I moved with IB to India.
Okay. And your parents are in which city in India?
So I moved my parents from Bhopal to Chennai post-COVID.
Chennai. And that's why you shuttle between Singapore and Chennai.
Yeah.
Okay, your wife is in Singapore and you shuttle here.
And I had a good experience of IB because of my sons doing an IB education in Singapore.
Which school?
So one son studied through the Singapore government system and SJI and SJII. And the other one was in Nexus International School.
Nexus International. So let's start with the IB story now, because that is where we know you as the person for IB. So it is again Human Touch and IB, or now you're working with IB, or like how does it go?
So I'm the face of IB as far as
you are, yes.
The relationship is concerned. I do development and recognition. Human Touch has taken a back seat.
Okay.
Because you know the kind of effort I put in for IB.
You are amazing, and that's what I was just thinking. How do you manage all this? I mean, stuff. I mean, it's not easy to the way I have seen you for the last many years. That the way the expansion you are leading for IB.
And IB brings a lot of joy. The kind of work I do, working with schools, the impact on students, universities, government work, all that makes for a good mix.
So what is your before coming to what is your remit today? What was your remit when you joined IB, and how has it grown over the years?
So when I joined in, my remit was to take care of schools business to grow, and also to liaise with governments and regulators, AIU, to ensure that IB programs are recognized and grow.
And when you joined IB schools, I don't think many IB schools existed in India.
Mostly they were in metros only. So what I found was that there's a misconception that IB is there only to go
Abroad.
overseas.
Yes.
Okay, and I thought, having been from a town called Bhopal, right, where I knew people on their own used to aspire, but there was no system. People in Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, or Bangalore would have access. And having seen firsthand as a parent the beauty of an IB education, it became that much more easier for me to convince. And I realized that if we have to grow, we have to grow to tier 2, tier 3 cities. I started working with schools in Udhampur.
Which is Jammu and Kashmir.
Yeah. Today, if I tell people that there's a school there, we've grown. Nepal, when I joined, we had only 2 schools. Today, there are about close to 12 plus schools offering in multiple programs.
Wow.
In a country where international education is not kind of permitted, right?
Yeah.
Those challenges were there. Today, we have got schools in Nagpur, we have got schools in Bhopal, we have got schools in Ramanathapuram.
And IB is growing. I think
Yes.
there are so many new schools being built every new year, and we had Captain Bajaj last time at this podcast, and he was also talking about how IB is now, so many candidate schools and expansion is happening. So tell us a bit more about how did you get this transformation going?
So one is that meeting school owners and convincing them that IB is right for you.
Hmm. From a school owner's perspective, they are thinking, evaluating between different curriculums.
Yes,
Okay, what will be
yes.
the best
And
curriculum to launch?
so that was one. Second is what I also found was that till COVID, okay, this is an experience I'm just sharing. Pre-COVID, it was Monday to Friday. Okay, you realize, right? You go and meet schools and everything. Post-COVID, I think education in India itself is in steroids. Is that it's so vibrant. People are meeting you even on public holidays, on weekends, and everybody comes to you. You go to them, they give you time.
Absolutely, and I think you are absolutely correct. There's so much happening in India,
Yes.
especially I think post-COVID, NEP 2020, and then even if
Yes.
I talk about the higher education sector, new foreign campuses being coming to India, and then even the school sector. I mean, a lot of these top boarding schools from UK and across the world are now coming to India. So absolutely, I'm with you, and
And
you are leading it.
in 21, we signed an agreement with the DBSC, which they did a lot of publicity. So IB got a lot of eyeballs, and IB at the topmost level also supported India very, very well.
Okay.
Okay, that is very important, right?
Okay.
You on the ground can put in so much of effort, but if there is a clear-cut top management support, it makes your job easier on the ground.
So for those who may not be aware of IB, if you could just define, maybe briefly, what is an IB education and who is the right fit for an IB education?
IB is incidentally celebrating 50 years in India.
Okay.
1976 is when we had the first school, the Kodai International School,
Okay.
which offered the DP program.
Okay.
IB started off as a Swiss foundation. Today we are global. We are there in about 160 countries. In India, today we have about more than 255 authorized schools.
255.
Plus we have candidate schools whom we call provisionally affiliated.
Okay.
We have worked with government schools as well. In Delhi, we work with the government of Andhra Pradesh. We also have a corporation school in Mumbai.
Okay.
You asked me what are the secret sauce. If you ask me, what the kind of effort I put in is for busting the myths. There were a lot of myths. People would go to Kora, okay, and people would say only study abroad.
बिल्कुल आज भी अगर आप in public, if you ask a person on the road, or generally speaking in common parlance, it's always about, okay, CBSE is about Indian universities,
Yes.
and India rigor hai, and IB is about only for those who have money and those who want to go abroad. That is,
Yes.
how do you bust this myth?
So one is that today we have enough schools to showcase, which are in the very affordable sector. Okay, very affordable fees. We've got schools in Bharatpur, which transformed from a Hindi medium school to an English medium school through the IB adoption.
Yeah.
Okay, one. Then telling data. 50% of our students continue their higher education in India.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Huh.
50% in IB students are in India. Okay, wow.
They go to a Surat University, they go to a Mumbai University, DU,
So ये public universities में भी
Barkatullah
they are
University
able
भी
to
जाते
join and
हैं.
all that.
Of course, a lot of students go to Ashokas of the world,
Yeah,
Raksha.
वो तो आ ही रहे हैं.
हाँ,
Masters Union,
हाँ,
Ashoka,
yes.
Jindal, ये सब
हाँ.
हमारे पास तो
But
आ ही.
even a university like Barkatullah University.
Barkatullah. That's what is interesting. That I didn't know. They are able. They are going there as well in
Yes.
numbers.
And another myth we started busting was that our students are not eligible for engineering and medicine.
हाँ, वो भी बहुत बड़ा
entrance
issue
exam
है.
था.
Yeah, that is what we are.
So a lot of them do that CLAT, CVT.
Yeah.
So all this happened to grow IB, and then we had very good university support, university recognition, including masters.
Union, yes.
We had Manavrachna and all of that. We have Amity.
Yeah, specifically we also spoke about the IBCP program that you launched.
So this was something which I did. I'm happy to take credit for it.
Yeah, please.
Was that during COVID, I realized that the world is shifting, and we need to bring in new energy. So IBCP was the way to do it, and we have more than 50 schools who have adopted the IB Careers program. When people are now talking about future of skills, okay, skills of the future, and future of skilling. I thought it was a good fit, like we were talking before this program, right?
Yeah.
It is not just about your grades. How ready are you to pursue something what you are passionate about as you go ahead in life?
Bilkul, absolutely. This is what we are all about. Learn by doing, and I mean skills before degree, and having real world experiences. I think IBCP speaks about that.
Even otherwise, you ask me what is an IB education about?
Yeah.
It is about concept-based learning, contextual learning. It is about experiential learning.
Yeah.
Hands-on learning.
Yeah. Yeah, I think truly, I mean, the ethos of IB resonate with what we have been doing at Masters Union, and that's why we find even IB students and IBCP students are very good fit, and that's when you reached out to me and we had that conversation when you first time came on this campus. We were absolutely with you because that is what we truly believe in, and thank you for bringing that opportunity for us also. So a lot of things happening in IB and you are leading it. So we were also discussing you're now working with universities also. I mean, Indian universities, what is happening there? I mean, schools we know, but universities.
So we have a program called the IB Educator Certificate, where universities can offer as part of their B.Ed IB certificate course in teaching and learning. Okay. And this is first university which got accredited was Christ University, Bangalore. Then we have Manavrachna here. Many global universities like University of Melbourne, University of Bath, they are all IBEC universities as well. So when you do those workshops as part of your B.Ed or your teaching qualification, then you can go and work in a IB school.
IB school. Yeah, that's great. That's great. So what are you seeing on the ground? I mean, you said you talked to a lot of school promoters who are building schools and are looking to build new schools. So there is growing interest in IB.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So as India has prospered, right, and people are always seeing new opportunities. And one thing which is very fascinating for me in India is that school owners have chains or groups of schools. Okay, they could have started with a state board school, then they progressed to a CBSE. Now they feel we should have an international school.
So multiple curriculum.
Multiple curriculum. One. Another thing what I'm noticing is that when schools are approaching a landmark, say 25th year or 50th year or 30th year, they want to do something different.
Okay.
So one of the ways is to adopt an IB program.
IB program. And how big is the IB team in India? I mean, you are based in Chennai and
I'm
Singapore.
based in Chennai. I've got two colleagues here from my team, one based in Delhi and one based in Nagpur.
Okay.
Apart from that, we have colleagues from Generation Global, which is an organization acquired by IB.
Okay.
So somebody is based in Noida.
Okay.
Then I have a colleague from Government Partnerships who's based in Vijayawada.
Okay. And you work a lot with the governments too, right?
Yes.
Tell us a bit more about how are you, I mean, and that's a larger question for me, how are you able to break through? I mean, working with governments is not easy.
Yes.
How are you able to work around well with the governments?
So one of the things less known is that IB works a lot with governments globally.
Okay.
We are working with Korea, we are working with Japan, with Lebanon, with Paraguay, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Even in India, people realize in the education world that IB offers something substantial and a great offering in terms of pedagogical approaches. You talked about NEP, you talked about NCFSC, if you look at it.
Yeah.
Many of the elements are very well taken from IB
IB.
or aligned with IB. So we believe that IB has a lot to offer the governments, be it in system reform or curricular reform, or even as a model school concept, right? Pilot schools. You run that, you see the difference. And I think somewhere it will help us to break that high stake assessment.
Absolutely. Uh, and then, so now you are become an education person, and I think your heart lies in education. We were discussing that you also feel very passionate about. You spoke about your, work in curriculum design and teaching courses in Singapore, and then right now you're leading IB. So, what is it that inspires you in education? What do you love the most about being
I
in?
think the kind of impact it makes.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of people have mobility through education.
Hmm.
That's the greatest feeling. Even before I came into formal education, even before I joined ASU, even before I joined IB, right? I was mentoring a lot of students.
Okay.
Okay, help them go into good schools, global schools. Okay, looking at reviewing, guiding them through the statement of purpose. Okay, crafting that story, and that gave me the greatest joy. And I think that's where when you consult students and what they can look at, it's all aspirational. There's a lot of hope. We should not discount the current generation.
No, absolutely not, absolutely not with you. Uh, so, Maheshji, I mean, I love working with you personally. I mean, I love the coolness and the calmness that you have. Even though you're like, if I was to use an analogy, you're like a duck. On the surface, it looks very calm and composed, but under the water, they are, paddling very fast. That is what I have come to know about you over the last many years. And so much stuff that you keep on doing. It's not easy to manage, Singapore, Chennai, and your own work and personal life. How do you manage to, and your own journey? I mean, I think at least 3 decades now in of corporate life and working across so many different cities, from starting from Nagpur to all the central Indian cities, and then going to Chennai, and then Singapore, and then Australia, and then coming back, establishing human touch, and then NTU, and then you have went to Arizona State, and now with IB. Tell us, what is the secret sauce there?
I think I love what I do.
Yeah,
So I think that if you do what you love and love what you do, you are settled.
absolutely.
And I don't have Monday blues because I handle multiple things in one day.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure. I Monday blues तो दूर की बात है. हम तो आपसे you are that inspiring person that Monday you will be as excited as you are on a weekend. I mean, that is what I say always, that uh, people should be excited on when they are doing what they are doing for their living. I mean, there should not be that there is a silo of Monday to Friday and then weekends. And I also want to bring in the element that I really appreciate about you, and we were discussing this, the spiritual element that is required. And I liked what you said, that the company name was Human Touch, and because you felt that although you are selling softwares, that there are people who are actually buying that stuff, and there are real people with real emotions, and you have to understand each personality. How much of I know you are a very deeply spiritual person, as I am. So why don't you share something about how spirituality has also helped you in your own
Uh,
life?
I believe that spirituality is the anchor.
Yeah.
Okay, when things go right for you, there's a force behind you,
Yeah.
and when things don't go right for you, right,
Yeah.
then also there's a spiritual angle and
Yeah.
an anchor to lean on. That's very important, and I believe that ultimately it is humans. Okay, uh, and I think IB had a very good theme called human flourishing,
Mm.
which aligns with what I feel as well at a personal level. So there's a lot of connects personally between me and the IB,
Yeah.
and the
And
IB's.
that's why you clicked so
It
well
clicks
with them.
very well.
Yeah.
One, it gels very well for me.
Yeah.
One. Number two is I believe that in the materialistic world today, we are all in a rat race.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you do? So sports can be a spirituality.
Yeah.
Sports can be spiritual as well, right?
Yes.
Sachin Tendulkar hitting
Yes,
a good
absolutely.
six can be spiritual as well. So one finds their own anchor, okay. And if you look at Hinduism, Sanatan, you have many ways, okay. There could be a Ganesha, Krishna. You find your own anchor.
Bill, Hare Krishna. Very nice. Thank you so much. Uh, and finally, we are sitting at Masters Union. I mean, we are all learn by doing, and you have been a great friend of ours for last couple of years. I mean, Intersect and MU, and you have helped us take the MU story forward. Uh, what is your take on what we are trying to do here at Masters Union?
Very happy, and I'm also happy that a lot of the IB students are looking at Masters Union, and amazed at the work because very resonates very closely with the work which and my experience at NTU,
Yeah.
including the campus, the breakout rooms, and everything. Right? I don't know whether you remember. I told you the first time we met here.
Yes.
That this reminds me that I'm not in DLF but in NTU campus.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so
The first time.
one, and I think these are the kind of environs where students will go and end up working in a corporate life if they decide, or if they set up their own companies, startups. Okay, I think we cannot leave it to governments to create jobs.
Yeah.
We have to have a generation
Absolutely.
of job creators.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. What an honor,
Thank you.
Mahesh, to have you here with us, and thank you for sharing your journey from Bhopal to now Singapore and Chennai and around the world. I mean, the world, the impact that you have had over the last many years is amazing, and we wish you all the very best for continued impact and continued, collaboration with you for many years to come. For me personally, and with for us as institution. Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure being here.
Thank you.